Hello and welcome to Monday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we're going to be trying a puzzle called Sigma Pi by IcyFruit today. I think Sigma Pi, I understand why it's called Sigma Pi. We've got sort of a, phone's buzzing, that's this, but we've got a Sigma sign in the grid and a Pi sign in the grid. Now IcyFruit is a constructor that is making an extraordinary name for themselves at the moment. People are suggesting that IcyFruit may be an alternative account for Fistamafel, such is the quality of every puzzle that IcyFruit has made so far. And this puzzle's an interesting one. We've had it recommended a few times to us, and it's got, I looked it up on Logic Master Germany, it's got 5 stars out of 5 for difficulty. A whopping great sort of approval rating as well. But several of the comments are suggesting it's not as hard as 5 stars, so I'm hoping that's true, especially after my mind was absolutely blown yesterday by Marty Sears' puzzle, Everything in Its Right Place. In fact, it was really rather lovely. This doesn't happen very often, but very occasionally I will get a WhatsApp or a text message from a friend of mine who I didn't know watched the channel. And I found out they did watch the channel, and I had so shout out to John. I don't know if you'll be watching again today, John. John is a friend of mine who I play golf with. I had no idea that John actually watched any of these videos, but I had a message from John this morning saying how much he liked the video yesterday, which tickled me pink. So. Anyway, I hope we'll be able to repeat the trick today. These lines are very odd. The way they work is that the tips of the lines multiply together to give the same number as you'd get by summing all the digits on the line. I think that's a summary of what's going on. So it's a crazy rule. But anyway, this is what we're going to be having a go at in today's video. But what do I have to tell you about before that? I've got a few things. Chants of Sennaar, our 5th stream, playing this wonderful game. This is, well, any of you who've played it before might recognise these figures on the right. Yeah, that's happening tomorrow night at 10 PM UK time. We'd love to have your company for that. We've got our Kickstarter is nearly over. It's very nearly over. If you want to get in on the Kickstarter and get yourselves a copy of the greatest Christmas present for puzzlers, well, frankly, in the history of puzzling, these Fog of War Sudokus, we're within about $2 at the time of recording of unlocking about the, I don't know, is it the 5th stretch goal, I think, which is going to be a math pesto puzzle. So we've already got extra puzzles by Analytical Ninja, Chili, J Dyer, Fistamafel, as well as all of the core puzzles by Sandra and Nala. It's going to be absolutely festive this, which is appropriate. But yeah, just days left. So check that out. Try and remember to put a link on the screen, and of course over on Patreon, we've got the Skunkworks 100 Snackdoku 4x4s. You must have a try of those. They are just wonderful. And well, thousands of you have been solving those, which is absolutely fantastic. My solve of Totally Normal Cat is over there. Totally Normal Cat's Broken Secrets. That's a very, very clever puzzle. And yeah, that's all the news apart from birthdays. Now, let me say happy birthday to a few people. I'm going to start off with Michael. Michael, I think you're over there in California, but I'm not sure. But your girlfriend Esty wrote to us and said that you do watch the channel a lot, and you're a big enthusiast towards Sudoku. So, Michael, I hope I'm getting the day right, and I hope I'm getting the place right, and I hope you have a very happy birthday today with chocolate cake, of course. Next, we're going to zip round the world to Thailand, where Pinky's birthday was on the 9th of December. But I didn't find this out until very recently, so it's not my fault that I'm a bit late with this one. But Pinky loves Fog of War puzzles, especially Fistamafel and Roggen puzzles. I know I've got a Roggen puzzle on my to-do list. I can't remember who it's by. Maybe Viking Prime. Not sure. And anyway, I'm glad you enjoyed your trip to the Philippines and many happy returns for a couple of days ago. And then finally, a new birthday. We had a message from Rob over there in Perth, Western Australia, about the birth of little Tom Tom. And I've got a picture. Where is it? Here. Look at this. Look at this little chap. These are wise eyes, aren't they? It's going to be a brilliant puzzle solver, Rob. Many thanks for sending us that news. It always delights us. And I was amused to hear that TomTom has been already sent to sleep by the dulcet tones of me. A gift. It's a strange gift I seem to have, but anyway, it seems to work on the young and the old alike. And I'm glad he's that my video gave two tired parents a break. But many congratulations, of course, on the new birth. Now that's all the news. Let's have a look at Sigma Pi. And I will read you the rules, which won't take long, to IcyFruit's new puzzle. What we've got to do is, well, we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. So the digits 1 to 9, once each in every row, in every column, and in every 3x3 box. Digits around an X sum to 10. Okay, these X's look a bit more, substantial than usual. But anyway, those two cells add up to 10, those two add up to 10, and those two add up to 10. And then multiplying the digits on each end of a brown line gives the sum of all the digits on that line. So that's what I said before. For example, a line could have the digits 3, 5, and 4 on it. No, we don't. Well, if we ignore the X, we could make this one 3, 5, and 4. Ignore the X, and we could do 3, 5, and 4. And I see why, because 3 times 4 is 12, and 3 plus 5 plus 4 is also 12. So that does sort of make sense. And that's all the rules. Very simple rules today. Do have a go at the puzzle. I shall maneuver myself in my squeaky chair. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, I suspect what we're going to have to do today is to use... I was going to say to use the secret. I mean, I can immediately see... When I say immediately see, well, I can see things about the sigma shape. I mean, it's a 7-cell line. And I know that the triangular number for 7 is 28, i.e. what is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7. Now, interestingly, this could be a 28 line, because if that was 4 and 7 at the ends of the line, then I could populate the line with 1, 2, 3, 5 and 6 for the other cells, and these would be an 8-9 pair. Now... Yeah, okay, but that's actually, there are other options, aren't there? If this was a 5-6 pair, I'm just sort of going up in my mind from 28 to higher numbers that I can multiply two digits together to get. So I can't do 29. 29 is prime. But I can do 30 with 5 and 6. And then the secret would tell me that that was a 7-8 pair. So, yes, I should talk about the secret, shouldn't I? And the secret is something I share with only my very favourite people. But of course, if you're watching this video, you're definitely one of my favourite people. The secret of Sudoku is that any complete box of a Sudoku, any complete row, any complete column, because of the rules of Sudoku, has the digits 1 to 9 in it. And the triangular number for 9 is 45, i.e. what is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9? It's 45. So if we know the box adds to 45, if we were to know the total of the sigma line, we could automatically deduce the sum of these two digits. So when we had 5 and 6 here, 5 times 6 is 30. So these have to add up to 15 without using 6. So the only way of doing that is 7 and 8, because we can't use 6 and 9. Now 31 is prime, 32 is 4 times 8, which would leave 13 for these squares, which couldn't be 4, 9 or 5, 8, so it would be 6, 7. 33 doesn't work, 34 is, well, has a prime factor that's too high. 35, 5 times 7 would leave these two to add up to 10. Oh, that's horrible. That could be 1928 or 46. Wow. Okay. What's the highest we could have? We could have a 1-2 pair there. We could have 42, couldn't we? Which is 6 times 7. Wow. Okay. So I've started the puzzle by concluding that that line is absolutely useless. Right, here's another thought then. Although maybe not a very good thought, given I've just worked out that had so many different options. I was thinking about that line. That's another set. In fact, there's a lot of 7-cell lines, isn't there? There's 3 7-cell lines in the puzzle. At least. Maybe... 1, 2, 3, that might be 7 as well. Not sure. But all of the logic I just did there. So imagine that this was a 5-6 pair. Then this would be a 7-8, wouldn't it? And now that couldn't be a 5-6 pair, because that would put 7 and 8 as the outies in box 1 into those squares, and that would clash here. But the reason I suspect that that's not very interesting is that when we increase this, what do we make this 5? If we made that 5 and 7, there were loads of different options for this domino. It could, well, this sort of non-contiguous domino, if there is such a thing. Because these had to add up to 10 without being 3, 7, so they could be 1, 9. And then this could be a 5, 7 pair, and that could be 2, 8, for example, and it wouldn't clash. So, okay, so I'm going down the wrong track here. Sorry, I'm playing around, just trying to understand the rules. There's an explosion outside. Maybe box 7 then. Box 7 at least has every digit. Has every digit catered for on a brown line. So we know the 2 totals for the brown lines in box 7 add up to 45, don't we? Now, but again, the problem... Oh, no, okay. I was about to say the problem here is that everything works. Well, I've seen one thing that doesn't work. So what I was thinking is, what's the maximum I could make those 5 digits there? Well, it would be 9, 8, 7, 6 and 5 in some order. I know 9, 8, 7, 6 and 5 add up to 35. And then I thought, okay, I could put 5 and 7 on the line there. And if these were 6, 8, 9, it would work. It would work absolutely perfectly. But it actually doesn't work. Not because of this line, but because of this line. Because if those are 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, this line is 1, 2, 3 and 4, adding up to 10. And I can't make 2 of those digits multiply together to give 10. So in fact, this doesn't add up to 35. It adds up to less than 35. But if it well, it also doesn't add up to 34, because then this line would add up to 11. And 11 would require a 1 here and an 11 here, or the other way round, because 11 is prime. So that doesn't work. 33... No, 33 must be nonsense, because 33 has a prime factor of 11. So we'd have to do 3 times 11. That won't work. 32. 30. This is actually interesting. 32 doesn't work, because this line, again, has to add up to 13 then. Well, no, more to the point. Well, A, it has to add up to 13 by the secret, but those 2 squares then have to multiply together to give 13, which is impossible using Sudoku digits. So this isn't 32. 31 is prime, so it's not 31. 30. 30 doesn't work for a lovely reason. If this was 30 and this was 15, then we'd need 5 on this line somewhere and a 5 on this line, wouldn't we? Because 5 is a prime factor of 30 and 15. So the 15 line would have to be 3 times 5. It's the only way of doing it. And then this line would have to be, well, either 3 times 10, which is silly, or 5 times 6, which is more reasonable, but then we've got 2 5s in the box. So this is interesting. So 20, well, if it can't be 30, it definitely can't be 29. That's prime. 28. No, 28, 17 here. Hang on, am I just getting this wrong? Is there just no... 27. 27 is more interesting, because then this line could be 18. So 27 would be 3 times 9, wouldn't it? how do I make that add up to 18 now? Or multiply together to give 18. I can't use 3, 6 or 2. No, I can't do it again, even though that was much more propitious in terms of the numbers. 27, the only way of doing that is 3 times 9. There are 2 ways of doing 18. No, it doesn't work. Okay, that doesn't work either. So 27 is wrong. 26 is a prime factor of 13. That doesn't work. 25 is going to require 2 5s on the line. That doesn't work. 24 would make this line add up to 21. 21 would have to be 3 times 7. Right, at least there's a way of... Right, this is good in that there's a way of making this work. So that could be 3 times 7 is 21. And this could be 4 times 6, which is 24. Because 3 times 8 is no longer available because the 3's been hypothecated for the 4-cell line. Ooh, although that's a horrible... I've just had another horrible thought about this. If it was 24 and 21, why is it necessarily this way round? It's not, is it? I don't know. I'm not sure about that, but at least we found one option that works. I'm going to keep going. So that was with this being 24. So no, 23 is prime. 22 is a factor of 11. That doesn't work. Oh, and now we're going backwards, aren't we? So now if this was 21, this would be 24. So we've covered all of the options, and only one of them worked, and it was that these 2 lines are a 21 line and a 24 line. But right, here's the tricky thing. Does that actually work both ways round? So if this was 4 6 and this was 3 7, what more do we need on the little line? This line's adding up to 21 and it's got 10 on it already. So these 2 squares have to add up to 11 without using 3 8, 4 7 or 5 6. So they are a 2 9 pair. And this would have to be 1 5 and 8 by Sudoku, and presumably it adds up because mathematically it ought to. We've got 10 plus 14 more, which is 24, so that does work. But here's the problem. Does it work the other way? So this way is going to make this line add up to 21. So what happens if I put the 3 7 there and the 4 6 here? Now these 2 squares have to add up to 14 without using 6. So this is 5 9. And this is 1 2 8 by Sudoku. 21 and 11 is, yeah, well, it's 10 and 11, which is 21. Okay, so that's annoying. This line always has 9 on it though, and this line always has 8 on it, and 1. Okay, so it's the 2 and the 5 that are sort of ambiguous. We don't, well, and the problem is the 2 and the 5 can switch places. So the 5 can be on this line and the 2 can be on this line, and that changes the ends of the line. So the ends of the line are 3 7 and 4 6. There is definitely a 9 in here, but there might be a 2. And there's definitely an 8 and a 1 in here, but there might be a 5. So that is an absolute, that's a proper good living we've given this box. And the really depressing thing about that, it's a fascinating thing, that there are only 2 numbers that the lines can be. That 24 and 21 is forced to be the ends of the line. But what's not fascinating is look what we end up with here. It's basic gibberish. The X lines, that has to be a multiplier. Yes, okay, that might be interesting. That definitely can't be some numbers. I can see that straight away. Yeah, because the sum of this line is 10 plus that digit. But then that digit has to be multiplied by a digit to get to the total. So you can see if that was a 3, that we can instantly dismiss it, because the line, well, we have to make these two squares multiply together to give 13. 14 doesn't work, because this would be a 4, and 14 does not have 4 as a factor. 2 might work. 2, that's 12, so this would be a 6 and a 4. So this would be an even line. 1 is nonsense, because 11, we can't put 11 into this square. So right, so 2 is a possibility. 3 doesn't work. 13, 14, 15. 15, that would be a 3. What's wrong with that? 3 times 5. There's nothing wrong with that, is there? So 5 is a possibility. 6 is not a factor of 16. 7 is not a factor of 17. 8 is not a factor of 18. And 9 is not a factor of 19. So this is 2 or 5. So this line adds up to 12 or 15. And if this is... if it's adding up to 12, that's a 6. If it's adding up to 15, that's a 3. So this is 7 or 4, depending on what this is. That's very annoying. But now, can we now deduce what this is? No, it's the 9, and it's the 9 that's the interesting digit, isn't it? We don't know which of 2 or 5 is on this line, so I can't even say that that digit goes there. That digit has to be... 3 and 6 are endpoints on this line, aren't they? Okay, so that digit, whatever that digit is, it's not an endpoint there, and it's not an endpoint there. So that digit is in one of those two squares. And if it's 3, we know 3 multiplies with 7. So if this is 3, there's a 7 in one of these. If this is 6, there's a 4 in one of these. I don't know. Bother. Okay. We've got another X thingy. We've got the same thing there, haven't we? This... right, so this is an inversion of the options for this line, because it's got the same principle. That digit times that digit is equal to the sum of the line. So, seems to be some sort of machine driving past outside my window. I'm sorry if you can hear that. So what does that mean? That means the digit that's not on the X, that digit is 2 or 5. And then that digit is 3 or 6. That digit is 4 or 7. So what does that mean? I don't know, is the short answer. Do those have to be different or the same? If these were the... Okay. Okay, here is a weird point. I think this is right. There is definitely roping in these 3 columns. Whether or not these are the same. That's really strange. So what I'm seeing there is that obviously if this was 642 and this was 642, then we've got the same digits here and here, which means those digits go up there. So we'd have this sort of pattern. That would be one possibility if these are the same. Now, And once you get this pattern, of course, you can ask where those 3 digits go in this box. And you can see that they have to go there, which forces them to go there. And then you have this pattern for the remaining digits. So you'd have something like this as the pattern. But what about if this was 246 and this was the other option? Well, then this option is 573, has no digits in common with this. So you get roping a different way. These digits, and these digits would be the same, which means those digits, and those digits are the same. That's quite interesting. No jokes. No jokes, especially not you, John. You may have been to parties that I've been to, but I'm a different guy now. I'm jolly interesting, honestly. Right, now, so what does that mean? I've got distracted. Thing is, yeah, okay, hang on a minute, I've got something, I think. Let me just think about that for another moment or two to check that I agree with myself. Oh, I'm not actually sure I do now. Hang on. There's definitely a parity thing, isn't there? If these are both even. So yeah, sorry, let me just explain what I'm thinking there. So what I'm thinking about is, what if this is 246 and this is 246? Well, then these digits are 2, 4 and 6 by Sudoku. But I don't think this can work, can it? Because, or actually, am I just wrong about that? These must be even. That means that the sum of the digits on this line by the secret is definitely odd. That means this is an odd digit because it's being multiplied by... No, hang on. What am I talking about? How do I make that? No, it just doesn't work at all. It just doesn't work. You can't make that work. When you multiply an even number by an even number or an odd number, you get an even number as the result. So this is this is right. This doesn't work. There's no way that these are both 246. So let's just step through. I'm just going to double check my logic there, but that's what my instinct is telling me. It's because these two numbers add up to an even number. So the rest, by the secret, the rest of the column must add up to an odd number because we're deducting from 45 an even number. So these add up to an odd number, which means these need to multiply together to give an odd number, and yet that is even. An even number times anything is always even, so you can't do it. So if these are the same, these are so this then would be the 3, 5, 7 option, wouldn't it? We'd have 3, 5 and 7 up here, and now we can. Well, now the sum of those is still even, so we're adding two odd numbers together. So the multiplying here is these are going to add up to an odd number, and now we need this to be odd, and it would need to be 1 or 9 because 3, 5 and 7 are in here. And it can't be 1. That's definitely true. I don't know that it can be 9, actually. No, it can't be 9. This is lovely. It's actually really clear. Okay, so by parity we can resolve this. So if this is 357 and this is 357, that's 357. This needs to be odd. It can't be 357, so it's 1 or 9. If this is 1, we can't possibly have a 7-cell line adding up to 3, 5 or 7, which is what it's going to be, because 1 times 3 is 3, 1 times 5 is 5, 1 times 7 is 7. So that forces this to be a 9. But what number are we going to pick here? These cells, well, if that's a 5 or a 7, that's implying the line adds up to 45 or 63. Well, all of the column adds up to 45, so that doesn't work. So the only thing that could potentially work is to put a 3 here. That's now 27's worth of digits. There are 45's worth of digits in the column, which means this is an 18 pair, and yet it's a 5 and a 7, which does not add up to 18. So this doesn't work either. Now that's really interesting, because that means that this is different from this. So whatever that is, this is not, which means that those digits are purple, those digits are purple, these digits are blue, these digits are blue, and these digits are whatever we're going to put in the middle. What colour are we going to choose? Grey or... Actually, I'm going to change purple because I know people don't like purple as a contrast colour. What shall I go for instead? Grey? Is that okay against the brown background? I'm not even sure. I quite like the green, but then I've got to make that one. Maybe I can make that purple, and I'll make those purple. There we go, because we know that digit's in one of those two. Okay, so what do we know now then? So now we know, this is right, now I know what orange is, don't I? Because one of these is 2, 4, 6, one of them is 3, 5, 7. I don't know the order, but that means that the orange digits are the other 3 digits in the puzzle, so they're 1, 8 and 9. This is beautiful. Right, and that can't be a 1, because we've worked out that 1 times anything makes this line absolute nonsense. So this is 8 or 9 being multiplied by something, which is a blue digit, but we don't know what blue is. Okay, but we can't have an infinite number of possibilities now for this square, can we? Yeah, okay, maybe that's a good way to think about it. What are the possible ways we can multiply numbers together to get a sensible answer? Well, yes, especially as the remainder. Hang on, the remainder here, we're going to know it, aren't we? Oh, yeah, hang on. Hang on. Yeah, I mean, if that's an 8, the remainder is 10. Well, it doesn't work at all. It can't possibly make... I'm actually a bit worried about 9. 9 must work. Otherwise maths doesn't work. If this is 9, we get a remainder of 9. No, 9's fine. 9's fine. Yeah, 8 doesn't work. Because if this is 8, what number do we put here? Such that, if this is 8, this is a 1-9 pair. So this line adds up to 35. Well, 35 does not have 8 as a factor. So that's just nonsense. But if we switch this to being 9, now we've got 9 left off this line. So we know the line adds up to 36. Now 36 does have 9 as a factor if that's a 4. And if that's a 4, so 4 is now in blue, so that's a 4. Which means on its X it has a 6, which goes with 2. Okay, so this is 2, 4, 6. This is 3, 5, 7. So 3, 7, 5. And suddenly we're away. We are away. I mean, that is so beautiful as well, isn't it? The way those numbers sort of shuffled into position. Look, this is all 3, 5, 7 stuff. But I think we can do more in this box now. What can we say? We know that 3 is in one of those 2 squares for sure by our colouring. So 3 is not the end of the other line. Now 3 has 7 opposited on its line. So one of these is now definitely a 7, which means 7 comes out of those 2 squares. Four comes out of that square. So the other side of this line can't be 6. 5 comes out of that square. Oh, bobbins, come on, Simon. What's going on? I know one of these is a 9. Oh, sorry. I can't see how to do it. Why one of these is a 3, one of these is a 7. Okay, 7 is down there somewhere. Is that what I'm meant to do? Oh, I'm so sorry. I can't see how to do that. Okay. And now this is still not restricted, is it? Because it might have been a bit restricted if that had been a more propitious combination. But literally all we're ruling out here, we're not even ruling out this from being a 4-9 pair, are we? Because then we'd be saying those add up to 9 and they have to be a different combination to 1 and 8. Well, there are still several combinations left. I mean, it couldn't be 4-5, but it could be 2-7 or 3-6. Can you ever have 1 on the end of what? You can never have 1. No, it's such nonsense. None of these lines. So, okay, if we ever do one of these puzzles again, like where we know zipper lines can only have a 9 in the middle of them, brown lines can't have a 1 at their ends, can they? I'm going to conjecture that must be the case. Because if that's a 1, whatever that is, the line is filled in terms of its multiplication. I mean, even if that's a 9, 1 times 9 is 9, so the line needs to add up to 9, yet it's already got 10 on it. It cannot work. Yeah, okay, sorry. So that's an obvious point. That's never a 1. This is an 8 or a 9, so that probably can't be massive. It's only a 4-cell line. Yeah. Okay, that digit can't be a 1 by the thing we just said. It can't be a 4. It can't be a 5. There's no way. If that was 8, 5 is 40, and we'd already have 13 on the line, we'd need another 27. That's nonsense. Right, it's not 5. So it's less than 4, so it's 2 or 3. If it's 2, we'd have 16 or 18. That's fine, isn't it? 1, 5 here. Or 18 would be presumably even less restricted than that. We'd have 11 on the line. We'd need 7 more without using 2, 5. So 1, 6 or 3, 4. This line. This line looks horrendous to me because, well, while I know those add up to 45, I literally haven't got a clue. Well, I don't have any clue what that number is, apart from it's not 2, obviously, or 5. I suppose it's not 5 either, because you can't put double 5 on the X. But it's got a lot of options, and I don't even know what they are. But this one, I know it doesn't have 5s and 4s as its endpoints. Can you have 3 as an endpoint? 3? I don't think you can. Didn't we look at this? 3 times 9. No, you can't. Ah, right. Oh, it's obvious. Oh, that's beautiful. That's so beautiful, IcyFruit. That really is beautiful. Right. What are the options for those 2 squares? Well, the first thing to say is, can you put a number as low as 3 on the line? So let's try 3 times 9. That's the most we could get out of it if we did put a 3 on the line. Well, we've got 27 there now. So by the secret, these have to add up to 18 and be double 9, and that won't work in a Sudoku box. So 3 doesn't work. So 1 and 2 don't work either. So we need numbers that are higher than 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 into those 2 squares, such that we don't get a number that's too big. Well, what's the minimum we could do then? Well, 6 and 7 is the absolute minimum. And if this was a 42 line, what would these squares be by the secret? Well, they would add up to 3 and be a 1-2 pair. So we cannot increase these anymore because these would need to be lower than a 1-2 pair, which they cannot be. So this is done. This is done. It is a 6-7 pair. Now, oh, look what I'm going to get. That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight losing its religion. So 3 went with 7. Oh, well, okay, so it was the first thought we had, which is that this line was a 24 line. Okay, so that's the 24 line. That needed, what did it need? It needed 14 more, so it's 1 8. So this doesn't have 2 on it. This is a 2 9 pair here. So this is 2 9. This is 1 5 8. Let's try and tidy up everything. That's obviously not 7 anymore. That's not 3 anymore. That loses its purplification. 3 is on a line over here. And that's not 5. Can we do more? Probably. I don't know, actually. This is weird. Does this not get resolved any further than this? Oh, right. Okay. I'm going to ask more Sudoku-y questions. Where's 2 in this row then? That's not a bad question. It can't go there, can it? Because there's a 1 2 pair in the box. So it seems to have to go there. So that's 2. That's 6. Now that's 4. That's 6. So now 4 is in one of these squares by Sudoku. Now, is that doing anything for us now? How do I resolve this 189 triple? I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't see how to do this. I'm pausing and taking my time because I don't know where else I'm going to look. If this is 6 7, which it is, 1 in this row could be in one of 2 places. I don't know, can't see it. If it's there, I can't see it. Right, so we're going to have to think again, aren't we? 6 has been knocked out of the ends of that line now. But that feels like a very remote... That feels like a very remote point to me. Knocking 6 out. I mean, what option... Okay, so we haven't got a 5 6 pair, which was one of the things we thought about earlier. I feel like I'm about to sneeze. Don't sneeze, that would be bad. Wow, I don't really know where to look, if I'm honest. Can I... What on earth am I meant to look at now? I'm sorry, I'm sort of looking around trying to think about what feels even remotely restricted. And I'm not seeing very much. Oh, come on, Simon. 6 7 1 2 8 9 in the bottom row. Maverick's flying past. Maverick, come on, cheer me on, Maverick. Let me understand what on earth is going on in this puzzle now. What was it that it was these line ends were really restricted by seeing 4 and 5. These line ends don't see 4 and 5. They only see 6. So this is not 6 7 anymore, and it's not 5 6. Maybe what I've got to do is to make a list of the things that this can be. But I think there might be a lot of options. Let's think about that. So we could have, well, we worked out at the start we could have the triangular number for 7. So we could have 4 and 7 as an option. That would give us 28. I'm just going to write down the options here. Now, 29 doesn't work. 30 doesn't work because we can't use 6. 31 is prime. 32 is 4 times 8. What's wrong with that? 4 times 8 would leave these having to add up to 13. They'd have to be 7 and 6 in a very specific order. I don't know. Okay, that's very interesting if it's that, but I can't see why it's wrong. So that was 32. 33 won't work. 34 won't work. 35 would be 5 times 7, and that's the most horrible one, because this has got so many options then. Don't know. 5, 7, 35, 36, 4 times 9. You see, there's so many options here. I think that's fine, isn't it? Can't be double 6, obviously, but it could be 4 times 9 in a specific order. 37 is prime. 38 has a 2 higher prime factor in the form of 19. 39, 2 higher prime factor. 40, 5 and 8. Oh, well, actually 40 doesn't work. Both of those squares would have to be 1 in that instance if this was 5 and 8. So that doesn't work. 41 is prime. 42 doesn't work. Right, so it's 4 options. And is there anything in common between these options? No. No, there isn't. They might have 7 in them, but they don't have to. They might have 8 in them, but they don't have to. They might have 9, and they might have 4 or 5. So these are 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Wow. I mean, that's horrendous. I'm missing something here, aren't I? The thing about I've already established from my knowledge of solving IcyFruit's puzzles is that... Oh, actually, that's not 9. They're so elegant. You don't just have to sort of do a million bits of case testing to force them out. There's going to be some idea here that's actually really profound. But I'm afraid I don't yet know how to think about this correctly. Do we have to look down here again? I don't like the feel of that. I mean, if that was... What did we say? That could be 16. These would add up to 6. Although, actually, that doesn't work now. That doesn't work. So 2 and 8 don't work there. So we'll have a look at 2 and 9 in a minute. But 2 and 8 doesn't work for a very specific reason. If that's 2 and that's 8, I think we've got 16. So these add up to 10. So these have to add up to 6. They can't be 2, 4. And if they were 1, 5, both of those would have to be 8. So that doesn't work. So 2 does not go with 8. Does 2 go with 9? Now then we'd have 11 heading up, and we need to multiply together to give 18. So we need 7 here without using 1, 6 or 2, 5. So this would have to be 3, 4. That would knock 4 out of these squares, which would force this to be 5, 7. That would make this one 8. I almost feel that's right. It's so forced, isn't it? So 2 works there with 9. But what about if we go for 3? 3 times 8, that's already very big. We're up to 24, and we've got 11 on the line. So we need 13 more without using 6, 7. 4, 9. Or 5, 8 doesn't work, so it would have to be 4, 9. Right, hang on. So what was it? So this would have to be... I'm going to actually... So we'd have to go 4, 9. What was the option when we had 2 and 9 working? This was 3, 4. So that was 4 and that was 3. I've had a different thought, triggered by exactly this. Where's 2 in this column? Oh, hang on. Can I put 2 on this line? No. Oh, that's beautiful. It's so easy. It's so easy. Right. Where's 2 in this column? That is the question. We don't have to do this, I don't think. Because the point is, that's not 2. So the next question, look at the options up this column. Is it ever possible to put 2 on this line? Well, the problem is that makes that a 3. And then we're multiplying together to get at least 24. When, well, 8 and 3 add up to 11, plus 2 is 13. We'd need a double-digit number as the complement. The maths just takes us way out of scope. So the only place the 2 can go in the column is there. Now, I don't know what that means, but I think it's going to mean something. I'm going to delete. Oh, am I going to delete that? Because I was getting somewhere with that as well, wasn't I? Maybe I should just complete the thinking on that, because where was I? I did 2 times 8. That didn't work. 2 times 9 worked. 3 times 8. Oh, that's annoying. 3 times 8 worked, and that's totally the opposite numbers. So if 2 times 9 works and 3 times 8 works, I get no improvement. But what we haven't checked is 3 times 9. So 3 times 9, 27. That's very... So this would be 15. It would have to be a 7-8 pair. This would have to be 4-9. Well, that doesn't work for a different reason. Goodness me, this is complicated, actually. I think I'm going to leave these in, but I'm going to highlight them. I'm still thinking about this. But I think we might be able to get more joy now by looking at this box and thinking about what these 2 digits can be. Because I don't know that all of these options are going to work anymore. Well, 4-9 doesn't work for a reason I've just noticed on this line. If this was 4 and 9 adding up to 36, these 2 squares have to add up to 9. But that means they're 2 and 7, and there's a 7 here already. So this doesn't have, this is not 9. So that option's out. Now, if this was 5, 7, these add up to 10, this would be an 8. 5, 7, 1, 8 down here. Not sure, can't rule that out instantly. 4 times 8 here. This isn't going to work. None of this is going to... Right, these 2 can just be removed. 4 times 8 is 32. That requires these to add up to 13. Well, that requires this to be an 11, and 4 times 7 is going to be even worse. So we are looking at 5 times 7. That's what this is forced to be. That's brilliant, by the way. That is absolutely beautiful. So this tiny little line here, I don't think it's even here for this sort of optionality. Well, it might be a bit, but it's basically just to say where does 2 go in the column. And once you spot it's there, all of a sudden this top line becomes totally resolved. That's got to be an 8 now. Okay, what's that done? All right, well, it's made this a 1-8 pair, so it gives me a 5. I don't know. So, okay, so now these squares are 3s, 4s, and 9s. Oh, so that's a 2. Right, okay. Can't be 3 anymore because we've got to put the 3 in column 3 here. So, we worked out 2 and 8 didn't work, did it? Now, why didn't that work? 16. Oh, yeah, because this couldn't be 1, 5. And it definitely still can't be 1, 5 or 2, 4. Right, so this is 9. These add up to something. What was it? 18 minus 11, so 7. So this is a 3, 4 pair. There's a 4 here. So this is 4, this is 3. So that's 9 in column 3. There's a 9 over here. This is a 2. Right, at last. So that's 2 and that's 9. That's 9 in the corner by Sudoku. There's a 9 over here. We've got... What else have we got then? We've got a 7, 8 pair here in box 4. So this is 1, 5 and 6. So that's not 6. And what's that digit then? That's going to be 4 by Sudoku. So this is not 4. Ah, the 8 and the 1 get resolved. Good. Good, good. Anything like that's very welcome. How can I have had 55 minutes? How? That has flown by. 1, 3. Oh, hang on. 1, 3 and something. 1, 3 and 6 here. 1, 3 and 6. That's not 1. 1, 3 and 6. We've really not done very much on that. Ooh, 1s and 2s, look. In box thingy, box 3, are removed from that central cross. 8 is in one of those cells. There's really not much stuff looking in here though, is there? I really don't want to look at this line. This line feels, in a very un-IcyFruit way, like it's trying to be, you know, like, what could this be? It could still be a lot of things, and multiplying it by that to get all the different options for this. Unless it's parity again, that might be useful. I don't know the parity of this, do I? Let me think about that. If that's odd, then we're multiplying 2 odd numbers together to get the total for this line, which is going to be odd if we multiply 2 odd numbers together. Then I'm deducting from that 3 odd numbers. So I'm on an even total for these squares. Which means, because of the secret, if I'm deducting from 45 an even number, this line is odd. So its ends have got to be odd, and they don't include 9. And they can't include 1 by the thingy we did earlier. So these would be from 3, 5 and 7. Gosh, that would be beautiful if that was right. Because look, that gives me a 3, 5, 7 triple here. And a 3, 5, 7 triple in row 3 as well. But that's if that's odd. If this is even, then we're on an even total for the line. Ah, come off it. This is... this setter is something else altogether. Right. I don't actually think it is about this digit then. Or it's only about this digit in the sense that appreciating that whatever it is, the parity of this line is odd, i.e. the total of digit. Because if this is even, let's just step through this. So we've already stepped through it if it's odd. If it's even, these two add up to, or multiply to give an even number. Now, we're deducting 2 odd numbers from an even number. So we're still even. We deduct that from an even number. We're still even. So this is still even in this situation, which means this line is odd by the secret, which means, again, the ends of it have to not include 9. They have to be 2 odd numbers, don't include 1, so they are again. So this is never 8. These are from 3, 5 and 7, whatever this digit is. And now that's a 3. Because I've got a 3, 5, 7 triple there, taking 3 out of this one. I've got a 3, 5, 7 triple here, taking 3 out of this one. So that is a 3. That's not a 3. Okay, that might be good. That might be important. What else have we got from that little soiree? I don't know yet. Let me think. Do Do we earn any other? Oh, I know what we earn. I know what we earn. Right, where are 1 and 2 in this box? Boom. They're in those 2 squares, so we get the 8. Ah, come on. Right. This does not multiply to 15 now. Because if this was a 3-5 pair, this line would have to add up to 15. It would have to be the triangular number for 5. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5, but it hasn't got that digit on it. So we're not in 3 multiplied by 5 land. We must be in 7 multiplied by something land. And we can't be 7 times 5 because this would be a maxed out line. It couldn't have and it needs to have 8. It needs to have 9. It needs to have 6 on it. So we are in a world where this is 7 times 3. Right, let's hope that works. This is 7 times 3. Oh, I thought I was going to do something very interesting there, actually, because I'm noticing where 3 is in this box. So I'm asking now where 3 is in this column, and the answer is in one of those 2 squares. So if that's 3, that would be 7. I don't know. I don't know whether that's possible. Let's come back to this and try and work out what's going on. So we've got 21 on this line, which means these squares add up to 24, which we probably are going to need the 9 for, aren't we? 10. These add up to 11. Do we know any more about digits that are definitely on one of these? Well, that digit is definitely there, actually, isn't it? I think. Is that right? Doesn't seem to be able to go anywhere else in the box. So it's got that digit on it. So it's got this digit, and this digit. Those 3 digits have to add up to 11. So that's not a 9. Okay, so there's no that's what we expected. I thought the 9 was going to be on this one. So if that's a 2, these have to add up to 9. But they couldn't be 2, 7. They couldn't be 3, 6. They couldn't be 1, 8. Ah, but could they be 4, 5? That would be 4. That would be 5. The answer to that might be yes, which probably means that's correct then. So 2, 4, 5 is one option. If that's 1, these have to add up to 10. They'd have to be 1, 4, 6. That would give me a 4, 6 pair in the row. I don't know then. Okay, sorry. I don't know. I'm not sure how to do that. What do we do now then? Answers on a postcard. No idea. 4 is in one of those squares. 3 is not there. Can we... Ah, look, we can do some Sudoku down here. Why am I not surprised that that's what's... Ah, that's a 9. Okay, right, we can do this. This box is filled. Right, maybe it's Sudoku. Maybe it's Sudoku that I've neglected. This is a 3-5 pair by Sudoku. Bother. It doesn't do it. Okay, what are these squares? 4, 8 and 9. Okay, let's put the options in. That's not 8. Is that somehow resolved by this column? I'm not sure it is, actually. Hang on. No, that was a bad thought. I just had a silly thought. I think probably I'm going to have to lock this digit into place now and think about how this line can work. That's probably is what I'm required to do. I'm just trying to leave that to the last possible moment before I commit to doing it. What else could we do? What is that? 1, 2, 3. It's not 1, 2, 3. What is that digit? It could be 4, 5, 6. That's okay. So it is from 4, 5, or 6, actually, I think. Is that interesting? So I've got a 1, 2, 6 triple in row 3, as well as a 3, 5, 7 triple. And I've got a 3, 5, 7 triple in row 2. And then I've got a 1, 2, 4, 6 quadruple. And oh, I'll tell you something I haven't really thought about. This is on an X. So it's not 2, 8 or 1, 9, is it? It's either 3, 7 or 4, 6. Why have I got a 3 there? Oh, that's because of where 3 was going in this box. Right, so 3, it's either 3, 7 in that order, which would be really helpful, actually. That would do all sorts of things. Or it's 4, 6, and what's the ordering for that? Is that either order? Maybe. I'm not sure. But if I can get rid of 3 from... didn't this have to have up... This adds up to a lot, doesn't it? Yes, that's going to be it. Yeah, this 5-cell pentomino adds up to 21. So these squares by the secret add up to 24. So that's already 24. So how could that be a 3? Even if we times it by 7, it's 21. It's still nowhere near. It's too big already. So that can't be 3. And now that must be a 4, 6 pair. Because it can't be. It can't have... Right, so 3 is pushed down here, which means that's a 3 by Sudoku. Good grief. Now if that's 4... No, that's not doing it. This is 4, 6. Let's just get rid of everything there and put 4, 6 in here. This is definitely not a 4. There's a 4, 6 pair in this column. Right, so that's 9. Right, so what's left? That's 9. 9 we can place there. 5 and 7, isn't it? Into this column. So that's got to be a 5. So, yes, the way to think about that is where's 7 in this column. Can't be in box 3 anymore. So that's a 5. So this is now a 4, 6 pair. And that had to add up to 11, these 3 digits. So that must be 1, that must be 2. So this is 6, this is 4, this is 2, this is 6, this is 1. And that's 7. Oh, that's going to... Right, so now we've got even more stuff going on between... Well, how can that be 4? Surely not. Because then we'd have 28 here. But we've already got 11 plus 24, 35 on the line. That's nowhere near enough. So it's got to be a 6 there with a 4 here. So that gives me a 4 here and a 6 here. And we're heading up towards 42 now. So we can get this digit, can't we, by mathematics. So we've got 13 on the line there. Just double checking this does it. That's 24, 37. So that's a 5. 3, 7, 5, 7, 3, 3, 5, 6, 7. The 4 and the 8 don't get resolved. Bobbins. Bother. Right, but we must be able to do more. No, the 4, they get resolved by this 4. That's good. So now we need 1 and 5 in the column. Okay, well that places the 9, but I don't think I know the order of for the 1 and the 5 yet. Might be wrong, but I can't. Oh, well that's now a 7. We've got a 1, 5 pair in row 6, which does the 5 and the 1, which does the 1, the 5, the 6 over here. That does the 1 and the 8 here. The 7 does the 7 and the 8. That must be an 8. That must be a 2. And the puzzle's just finished itself. How did that happen? That was crazy. Right at the end, it just finished itself. Is it right? Yes. How many people? 66 in 4 days. Wow. Well, I mean, that is a puzzle that deserves mighty attention from the world of Sudoku. It's just gorgeous. The fact you can solve that without needing to sort of go to town. Like I was very worried at one point that I needed to basically write in all the options for this, multiply it through all the options for that, come up with loads and loads of different possibilities for this line, and then try and eliminate them somehow. And yet it wasn't that. It was this beautiful parity idea that gave me the tips of this line, and that did some stuff. And where else did it, this being 5-4, locking in those two squares was gorgeous. Oh, where's 2 in this column was gorgeous. It's just IcyFruit. Take a bow. This setter is very, very special. This is very gifted stuff. It really is. That's another absolute banger after yesterday. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. Let me know in the comments whether you had a go, how you got on, and whether you found this as beautiful as I did. This is mustard. And I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. We'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.